All right, so let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's deep dive. First of all, thank you very much for joining us and taking time out of your very busy schedules. Really appreciate you being here. For those that are new to these deep dives, they are very short and focused sessions where we take a closer look at specific features, tools, or themes to help you get the most out of TeacherMatic. They're designed to be practical, hands-on, and full of tips that you can take away and use straight away. Believe it or not, this is our sixth deep dive, which is absolutely fantastic. And thank you to everyone who's been with us on this journey so far. Now, after today's session, we'll be editing and uploading this video to our YouTube channel that usually goes live on about Wednesday, I think the latest we try and aim for. So, and we also put together a short blog post to accompany each session. So keep an eye on that too. And if you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on anything. And in a couple of slides, I'm going to share with you this really useful resources and links page where you can find everything from the recordings, the blogs, links to past sessions and more all in one place. So here's what we've got lined up for you today. We're going to begin with a quick overview of how PowerPoint and these slide-based tools are used in education, including what works well and what to avoid. Then we're going to dive into two main generators, right? The PowerPoint presentation and prepare a presentation, right? And I do need to tell you at this point that, as you can see with the slideshow outline generator, this is going to discontinue because all the functionality has been replaced by prepare a presentation. So we're only going to focus on these two. So I'll walk you through how each one helps turn topics, rough notes, or background material into ready to use slide decks, each in slightly different ways. And then we're also going to look at some time-saving hacks, workarounds, and shortcuts to help you get the most out of these tools and speed up your planning process. So in the show and tell, I'm going to walk you through these generators and see them in action. And hopefully we'll have 15 minutes at the end for a Q&A and discussion. And that's where I'm going to release your mics and then you can ask questions around these generators. Now, before we jump into the presentation, I'm going to share with you this very useful link, teachermatic.com/links. You'll find a curated collection of links and tools to help you get the most out of this platform. So you'll see it here. This includes the tutorial videos, right, in our YouTube channel. It also includes a link to different roles and tools. So if we click here, we've got, generators that fall outside the scope of teaching and learning. So this would be really useful for support staff. So if I go to quality officer, you can see all of the generators here too, right? You'll also find the registration links to our webinars, whether those are the community webinars or these deep dives. So if you go to our community webinar here, you'll be able to sign up to our next one. That's incorrect. That needs to be updated. My apologies for that. That should have been updated. That will be updated very soon. I thought that was. So you'll find all the latest registration links here. Also, don't forget to join the newsletter, sign up for that, where you'll get all the latest, events, links, webinars, all of that stuff. So do sign up to that there. Okay, so with that being said, let's get started with the presentation. Let's start with some fun facts you probably didn't know about PowerPoint. PowerPoint was first released on April the 20th, 1987 for the Apple Macintosh. And as of today, April the 2nd, 2025, PowerPoint is 37 years old. The original name was actually named Presenter, and it was developed by this company called Forethought Incorporated in 1987. and then Microsoft acquired it for $14 million. So, and then they obviously integrated it into its suite of productivity tools, the Microsoft 365 platform. So in terms of global usage, PowerPoint has a vast user base with over 1 billion installations worldwide. It's estimated that approximately 35 million PowerPoint generations are given each day. Imagine that, by an estimated 500 million users globally. So now, in terms of the benefit of PowerPoint, specifically in education, this is continuously being debated, by the way. So you got both the supporters and detractors, and both of them, by the way, have insufficient empirical evidence about, if it's beneficial or not. Love it or hate it, PowerPoint is still one of the most widely used tools in education, and there's a reason for that. Whether you support it or you oppose the use of presentations, they undeniably serve a valuable tool for structuring and communicating information effectively. Students, report, according to this source here, it helps them follow the structure of a lesson more easily and makes concepts clearer, especially when it includes visual elements. That said, it's not the tool itself that makes it effective, but how we use it. So PowerPoint shouldn't be used as a script. We've all sat through, presentations where the speaker reads every single bullet point and it's hard to stay engaged. So I'm sure many of you have heard the phrase death by PowerPoint, and that's exactly what it refers to: slides overloaded with text and delivered in this monotonous, tone, read aloud style that disconnects the audience. So it's not the tool that's the problem, it's how it's used. So I think PowerPoint's real strength lies in visualizing ideas, diagrams, timelines, task flows, and if used well, it taps into what we call dual coding, combining visual with spoken explanations, which actually, according to the research, helps learners retain more information. So in summary, just general rules, I think, are PowerPoint should not be used didactically. It's just a tool, and like any tool, it's only effective when used correctly. And its real power lies in helping us visualize information, so like graphs, diagrams, task processes, and not serving as a script. And slides should support what you're saying, not replace it. So, use them to enhance your message, not deliver it for you. So let's, of course, not ditch PowerPoint. And that's why you're here. I'm sure many of you are fans of PowerPoint or any other similar tool. We just need to learn how to use it intentionally. Okay. So before we jump into using the generators, I just wanted to share with you a few shortcuts that I think will help us work more efficiently, especially when we need to use some quick workarounds, by the way. I'm sure many of you are familiar with these. They're pretty common, but just in case, I'll pop them on the slide here, and I'll also be using them during the demo so you can see them in action. The first four, the Control A, which selects all, Control C, which I'm sure you know, Control V, which is paste, and Control N, new. I'm sure many of you know them. And by the way, these are quite universal. So they'll work in Word, PowerPoint, Excel, they'll work in most of the programs. So they're quite useful to know. These ones are probably less known, and you don't necessarily need to learn them. But when we're doing prepare a presentation, I think it's quite useful just to know these shortcuts, especially if you use Word a lot. And these are the Alt Control 1 and the Alt Control 2. But it's likely that in a few weeks' time, by the way, with a prepare a presentation, you won't even have to go through this process, which I'm about to show you, okay? So with that being said, we're going to look at this prepare a presentation. it's really actually quite useful. I'm going to show it to you in action. All right, let's do an escape. Yep. All right, so this is TeacherMatic. We'll go to the search box, just write the word prepare here, presenter. There it is, prepare a presentation, right? And to launch the presentation, you just click on the use button, it launches the presentation. Here, you just put in the title, right? And you can select the source content, which is really interesting, by the way. So we can put use a descriptive topic, right? Which is really that essentially, okay? And I can just click on generate and it'll generate this outline of a presentation. So that's quite self-explanatory, but just to show you what you can do, by the way. So I'm just going to remove that and just show you the power of something, which I think would be really useful in some of the hands-on topics. And I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to remove this title here, right? And I'm actually going to upload a file, right? So I'm going to click on upload file. I'm going to navigate to my pictures area and I'm going to show you this picture here before I use it. Let's open it up. All right. It's just a picture of this very healthy, hummus dish, right? Now check this out. I'm going to actually use this picture to generate a presentation just based on that picture. So I'm going to double click on there. You're going to have to put something in the title, right? And what I suggest, because you want the presentation solely based on this image, I would just put a full stop there, right? You have to put something. It's a mandatory field, as you can see from this asterisk sign, right? And there you go. Go to speaker notes. Normally what I do is I'll put the notes on each slide, especially if you're delivering this presentation where you've got your laptop and it's connected to an interactive whiteboard or a digital display, just like I am now. So I will be able to see my notes on my private screen, especially if you've used the extend feature on your computer. Now, if you don't have that facility, then what I would suggest is what you could do is you can say all notes as separate final section, and then you can print that out for your review there. Right. So as easy as that. I'm just going to put 3 notes just for simplicity, and then we just click on generate. And it's going to generate a Word document for now, but in a couple of weeks' time, we'll be able to export this into PowerPoint directly. But look what it's done, just based on that image, by the way. So it seems that it's read that image quite well, as you can see. So we've got a new feature that is really being rolled out on all our generators. So if you don't like a particular slide here or the content, you can actually refine the output over here. So I could, I could say, okay, could you include a couple of more bullet points here or do this? You can do that in refine. If you don't like what it's produced, you can click on regenerate and it will regenerate everything here. So as easy as that, you can see what it's done, right? And that's just based on an image. We can also do that with written text, by the way. So let me remove that. Okay, and show you exactly the same thing. So I'm going to upload the file. I'm going to open this up for you. Oops, I should have done that probably. Let's do that again so I can show you what this picture looks like. All right, so what we have is we have some handwritten text about sustainability, right? As you can see here, something I found really on the internet, right? It's not a very large picture, so the quality isn't great, but let's try this out. I'm going to double click on this one here, right? As you can see, it says sustainable development. I'm not going to put anything in the title except that bullet point because I want to create a presentation just based on this image, right? If I put something here, it will also guide it based on those keywords, and I don't want that in this instance. So let's click on regenerate and see if it does a good job. Right, there you go. Isn't that fantastic? Right, as you can see. So just to show you the power of this, and of course, scan text is really essentially the same as the file upload. And then of course, you can even paste some text. So if you have a description of something, you can put that in there. I can just type it out here and put a title. So this is really, really powerful. So once you've produced this, so let's go back on one of our uploaded images. Let's go for the dish here. Right, let's click on regenerate. And I'm going to show you how to import this into PowerPoint. So there's a couple of ways that you can do. All right, so what we're going to do is we can copy this into Microsoft Word. Right, you'll have to take it forward into Word for the time being. All right, so you can copy that, and I'll show you what that looks like. And of course, we can export it to Word, and we'll do that too. Right, there it is. So this is what it looks like. Okay. Or, of course, you can just go export Word. Right, I'll save it on my PowerPoint Hemos. There we go. Let's open it up. All right, I'll enable editing. Now, we can easily do this, highlight, and just click on heading 1, as I said. Yeah, and I think that's, but if you use Word and use that a lot, remember those shortcuts that I showed you before, and this is where that Control-Alt-1 comes into play. Let me show you that again, right? So Alt-Control-1 and Alt-Control-2, and it's essentially just doing this. I'm highlighting this. I'm going to do Alt-Control-2. That's all I'm doing, right? So I'll do the same here, Alt-Control-1, highlight these 3 at the same time, Alt-Control-2. Obviously, I can do it here too, right? Right, it just saves me a few more seconds. I'm a big fan of shortcuts, by the way. All right, so now that's saved, I'm just going to press, make sure that's saved. So I'm going to do Control-S, another shortcut, to save my document. And I'm just going to go to PowerPoint, right? Once I'm in PowerPoint, show you now, there's a new blank presentation, and all you need to do is you need to go where it says new slide, slides from outline, and just go and find that document. There it is. Right, double click there. I will say, okay, I need to close the file. That would help, wouldn't it? So I need to go back to Word. Just close that file. There you go. So I'll open that again. And now you'll see this imported right there. Oh, I didn't do something which I should have, by the way. I didn't, when I was in Word, I should have done the speaker notes. So my apologies. Let's do that again. So I will click here. I can do Alt-Control. Let's do Alt-Control-3. I think Alt-Control-3 will work there. All right, there we go. Okay, save it. Make sure we exit. Right, go back to PowerPoint. Let's do Control-N. That's where it's useful. Go into slides from outline. Double click there. And there we go. So what we have is our speaker notes. So I forgot really to make them into a heading, right? I'm just going to delete the first slide here. And what we're going to do, so I'm just going to drag this so we can see the speaker notes more in a larger view. And I'm just going to highlight this and just drag it, right? You can either do Control X if you wanted, Control X and Control V, or you can just drag and drop. Okay, now why did we do that? Because what we want is really, we want this AI feature called Designer within PowerPoint to kick in. So if you look on the right here, now look what happens. You'll get, I'm sure like many of you will know, you'll get this, all of these AI featured functionality here called Designer. And as you can see, it makes the presentation look so much nicer. Not bad. Nice images. And by the way, just to let you know, it does also suggest its own image, right? So you can go and grab that image and say replace image, right? And you can go and find one from the stock photography or something like that. But as you can see, it's just designed our presentation with the speaker notes here. I can press F5 and there you go. All right, quite visual. What was that? Less than 5 minutes and we got our speaker notes and we got a, you know, a pretty good looking presentation, I would say. So that's your prepare a presentation, which as you saw, you can do quite a lot just based on an image, by the way. So, you know, that's, I think, a very, very powerful feature. Now, the main generator that we have for presentations is not this one, but this one I think is extremely useful. It's really this one here, which is our PowerPoint presentation. And just a quick heads up before we do a dive into this. From time to time, you'll notice that some of the generators are temporarily unavailable or under maintenance. That's usually because we're improving them or resolving some technical issues behind the scenes to make them even better for you. Now, out of all days, yes, out of all days, today the PowerPoint generator happens to be the one that is under maintenance. But don't worry, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be showing it to you through my admin account, although it doesn't have all the functionality, but I promise you, you'll get a really good idea of what I wanted to relay and using those shortcuts, okay? So the PowerPoint obviously is one of our most popular ones, by the way, and it uses a lot of tokens and generates, you know, a lot of sort of resources in the back end. And it's the one that solicits, I think, the most feedback. And we are continuously, by the way, improving this generator like all the other generators. And you'll see soon in the very short term, you'll have more generator options, more layout options, and more relevant images. Longer term, you'll also be able to produce some of these images using AI. So rest assured, just to let you know, we're continuously improving all the generators, and as I said, PowerPoint probably solicits most of the feedback, and we're very conscious of how we need to make this even better for you. So with that being said, let's have a look at how this works. So I'll need to go to my admin account just to show you, because if we went to PowerPoint today, you'll see that it's under maintenance. So I'm going to go to the generator and there it is, right? All you need to do is just write PowerPoint in the search box. You get this here. So this is more powerful than the other one, by the way. So here you just put the presentation title, and as easy as that, you can decide how many slides you want. You click generate, and as easy as that, you'll get a PowerPoint. And just like everything that AI produces, it should only be regarded as a strong first draft. You know, it's not meant to replace what we do, but complement what we do. So you can click on generate, but where it gets really powerful is where you put in the topics. Okay, so if I put this topic of artificial intelligence, I might want to guide the generator into producing, you know, I might say I want you to make sure that you include machine learning, and then you press enter. And I might want you to include, I don't know, deep learning. You press enter. So what this will do is it will produce a PowerPoint presentation that will include those topics as slides. And here's a little hack that you may have not known. You can actually include all of this in one go if you separate those terms using a comma. So if I just wrote it like this, right, and separated all of this using commas and pressed enter at the end, then look what happens. It enters all of these topics in one go. So now you can upload a Word or PDF file, and this will sort of guide the output of the presentation based on the contents of that document, right? You can also link it to a website, right? And that will also influence the output. Obviously, it doesn't work on all websites, something I think you need to be conscious about. Here, you decide the number of slides. Obviously, because I have so many slides, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I'll probably need to put 9 or even 10 slides. Obviously, the more slides you have, the longer it takes. This is something you need to be conscious about. So it will automatically generate images from keywords, which is in most cases what you would want, but perhaps not. You might want all of these other ones here too, right? Choose the color scheme, the complexity, which will change, by the way. So in the new one, you're going to see it updated with all that new functionality that you've seen, by the way. Really powerful stuff. It's out in many of the generators already. You might have seen it in the lesson plan, the multiple choice quiz. Very powerful features. That will be there soon. And it probably is there, but because I'm using the admin, it might not be here. So, and as easy as that, you'll have a button that says generate. In my case, because I've already done this, I'm going to just click on regenerate. All right, it'll take a few seconds because don't forget I've got 10 slides, by the way, right? And I'm not going to do a save as because, as I said, it's under maintenance, but I will show you what typically the PowerPoint would look like, and I'm going to show you a workaround for that. But before I do that, I'm going to show you what you can do. So here, what will normally happen is if you've used this generator before, you'll have the preview here. So you'll see what that PowerPoint looks like before exporting it into the preview window. But what I wanted to show you is the refine, which is a relatively new feature. We're going to click on refine. So this is where you can refine your presentation and change the color and everything else here. So you can see this image might not be the best image. So what we can do is we can click on this image, right? And we can search for AI. Maybe let's see if it comes up with anything better. If I say AI, I might use that, which is a slightly better image than what we had before. Okay. All right, lovely. You know, we might not even like this color, so we might change the background color and make it into something else. There we go. We might want to change the text here. So we'll change the text here to white, click on save, and there you go. You get the idea. In the first slide, because it's the intro slide, you're not going to see that refine. If I click on the next one, let's click on in the next one. Right, there we go. So in the next one, you can see it says refine this slide. So we can use AI, you know, to say, for example, make this explanation easier. That's it. I think I'm happy with that. Make this explanation easier. Okay, to understand. How about that? Right, there we go. We click on refine, and it's going to change now this text. And don't forget, it's also produced speaker notes for you. All right, did it do it? Did it do it? I'm not even sure. I wasn't even looking. Yeah, I think it did. Yep, it did. So it changes it. So you can use that refine to do everything you want. Once you've gone through the presentation and you're very, very happy with it, then you can export it. Once you export it, just to let you know, and I'm going to show you this right now, because it's under maintenance, I've got a previously created presentation of what typically this would look like. So when you export it, you might have improved it, by the way, going through that refine option, but this is where I wanted to show you that workaround for now. So when you export it, the problem is that we don't have the AI functionality in PowerPoint here. So this is the workaround, and those are the shortcuts that I wanted to share with you. So let me show you those shortcuts again. And this is where those shortcuts are going to be really useful. We're going to do a Control A to select all the slides, a Control C to copy them, a Control N for a new presentation, and then a Control V to paste. So let me show you how that works. As you can see, Designer doesn't work. So what we're going to do is a Control A to select all the slides. So make sure you're on one of the slides, Control A. As you can see, it's selected all the slides. Control C. When you copy something, it goes into your clipboard, right? So we've copied all these slides and they're in our clipboard. We're going to do a Control N for new. And then finally, we're going to do a Control V for pasting. And as you'll see, let's get rid of the first slide. As you'll see, when we click on Designer, what we have is these beautiful sort of AI suggested slides. The first one looks really good, doesn't it? Right. So the second thing, it doesn't work in all of them, but there is a hack to that. If you just click on this image, remove it, then it will kick in the slider here, the layout. So let's do that one more time. Click on the image, remove it, and then we get this out again. Right, there you go. So that's what I really wanted to show you today. It's already 1:35, so we're going to have to sort of wrap things up. Just want to say, thank you very much. And this, brings us to the end of today's session. And before we wrap up completely, we're going to open things up for Q&A. So if you've got any questions, big or small, feel free to jump in. And just want to say a heartfelt thanks to everyone for making time in attending these deep dives and being part of the TeacherMatic community. Your engagement, your commitment, and especially your feedback helps us improve TeacherMatic, right? And the reason that it's on it's continuously evolving and improving is because of the feedback that we get from our community. So once again, thank you very much. Now let's open it up for a Q&A. Thank you.